Hi guys, Frank here from Remek. I hope you had a good week, Friday afternoon. And I just wanted to show you a couple of things on how to set up and run our system. So you see two charts here, a smaller chart, in this case a 2-1, and a larger chart. And we run the strategy obviously on the small chart because we want to one of the basic things about the Remek system that we enter at the inflection points. All right, inflection points. Now this one here, although it's an inflection point, but the rule is in our system that you need 2 bars before you can enter. So this is just 1 green bar. The system will skip this. Now, all the options are based on basically statistics. So obviously sometimes this would be a good entry, but this is usually even a better entry. So that's what's built into the system. We're thinking not just 1 trade, but thousands of trades. Okay, so the first thing is that the system will take trades at the inflection points, price inflection, as price turns. As you know, the Renko bars kind of filter the noise in the market and give you a nice looking trends and usable trends that we can take advantage of. All right, so you right click on the chart, choose strategy, Raven, and you choose the file that you downloaded from us. And then the way we use it is that we want to manually decide if we want to go long, short, or do nothing. So the way we do this is just to leave this blank. Leave it, which means none, right? Now leave it on blank means that NinjaTrader will give us or Bloodhound rather, gives us the chance to choose direction. If you kind of hard code anything into it, like if you put this to auto, then it will be an auto, whatever you choose from the drop down, okay? So what you choose here overwrites the drop down list. Now, so, oh yes, there's one change. We're gonna roll out a very, very minor upgrade tonight, possibly. I changed, this used to be called none. Now we call it no trade, just not to get confused with this NinjaTrader word here, none, okay? So now we're just gonna call it no trade. Otherwise, there's no changes. All right, so we're gonna choose none because we want to decide ourselves what to do. The exit, however, we do specify exit because we want Remek, the Remek system is a pretty good exit logic, and we want to take advantage of. So we're gonna use this from the drop down. Now, if you go down, there's several things you can specify here, whether you wanna enter market or limit order. Given the nature of these Renko bars, it makes sense to, well, it's all up to you, but the way we use it is just to enter with a limit order 1 tick back from the market and hope to get filled. You can put this to 2 ticks back, depending on the instrument and the volatility and the spread, time of day you trade. This is just something that you can decide yourself based on experience, on the product, on the instrument that you trade. We usually put it to -1. -1 means that it puts a limit order on the market 1 tick back from the last price. Okay, so then you can specify whether you want to use NinjaTrader's default strategy, trade management, target and stop, or you have written your own trade management system, the ATM, which we have, so we always use ours. And we have a 2-contract break-even strategy. We call it ATM2. Just make sure that you use the same name here because you have to type this in. You see, there's no drop-down list here. So you have to use the same name that you named the system when you created it. All right, so we use a break-even strategy. It has certain advantages. It's not the only thing you can do, but it's something that you have to think over based on how you want to take advantage of our signal. Now we like using a sound just to remind us that there's a signal on the chart. So this is not NinjaTrader's built-in sound. But it is this built-in sound. It's not actually when you enter the trade. It's the sound you get when the order is placed on the market. All right, so when the signal arrives. And we use the same sound for long and short. We don't care. The main thing is that we hear it when there's an order on the market. Now, as you see, I'm using the market replay, and we're going to activate this template right now. It might take a few seconds. I have an i7, pretty good new machine, but it still takes some time, especially in the market replay. So we just have to just bear with me for a second. Sip your tea, say your prayers, look out the window. Maybe I should feed my turtles. So in any case, I don't know how long it will take. In the meantime, let me just think what else I want to share with you. Yes, a few words about the ATM then while we're waiting. The ATM, what we do is, because there's no big secret about this system. This is documented in many good books. You can enter with 2 contracts or 3 contracts. There's various ways to do this. Just for simplicity, we use a 2-contract example. And let's suppose the worst case scenario, it goes the other way and you get stopped out, right? And you got stopped out, and the full cost of the trade was, let's say, $200. If it starts to move into your direction, then what we do is that we put the first target, let's say, okay, here we go. So we put the first target, let's say, 10 ticks away. So let's suppose you enter here, and your first target would be, you'll see this in live in a minute, but let me tell you. First target would be here, second target would be here. So, and your stop, let's say, is somewhere here, below this dotted line anyway, all right? It's up to you. You can put it here, you can put it here. The ATM is something that you have to do yourself, because we obviously don't know your account size, your strategy, your psychology, your situation, so this is personal. All right, so 2 things can happen. Either price doesn't go anywhere, you get stopped out, and the trade is done. If price decides to go this way, which is what we expect and what we want, or what we anticipate rather, then here in our ATM strategy, the break-even strategy, what will happen here is that the first target gets hit, and at the same moment, your stop gets pulled up halfway. From that point on, if price comes back from here and stops you out, you break even. You made $50, you lost $50, and you're actually, the way we set it up, even your commission is paid. Okay, and then this is the break-even scenario, and then the best case scenario is that it stops out it hits your first target, and then price, more or less in some kind of line, but it starts to keep going up, and then you have to manage your trade, right? If you can keep it to your original target, or if you observe weakness, something like this, then you have to find a place somewhere to take your profit and not wait and give it back all. So this is trade management, again, something that's personal. But one thing about the ATM, our ATM includes a trailing stop. If you go to our documentation, you'll be able to check this out. It's on our website. You can include your own trailing stop. For example, when price reaches this level, let's suppose, 1 second, somewhere here, then you can pull up your stop above your entry, and if it puts in another pivot, something like this, then you can pull up your stop again, either by hand or built into your ATM. Okay, so much about the ATM. Now, let me just start this. I don't know, maybe speed 20 or 30. I think we're entering on the limit order, so I don't want to put it too fast, because then we may miss getting filled. Now, you may notice that we don't include volume in our code, but we do have volume as a discretionary, information on the small chart. Now, when price goes up, and you can interpret any way you want. We're not going to tell you how to interpret volume because you can have your own ideas about it. But the way we look at it, if price goes up and there's incoming volume, then probably that's incoming volume raised the price, which means people went long here, which is a good sign. You see, and they did. All right. So if we were in this trade, then we would be in a good trade. And this area is a good entry area. Whether you get a signal or not, discretionarily, you can always choose long. And then the Remek system will get you in a good trade automatically at the next inflection point, right there, either here or here. Okay, so you can be in auto all day, but actually we don't spend too much time in auto mode waiting for, to get lucky or something, but we actively evaluate situations. And when we see something like this, good support, price turning on the large chart, everything's with us, incoming volume, then what we do is just put it into long, sit back, sip our coffee, and wait for the next inflection point. And you'll get kind of sucked into a good trade right here. Here or here. Your stop below your entry, and the ATM manages the trade for you, or you can manage it by hand. All right, now the next thing I want to show you, we've been doing this for many, many years. And of course, after spending like 10,000 hours in front of the chart, you'll notice things that keep happening all the time. And let me just share something with you. It's not programmed, and I'll tell you the reason why. It would be very easy to program this into our system, and I'll tell you the reason why we don't or haven't yet in just 1 second. But first, let me tell you what the pattern is. Now, but before I show you the pattern, let me tell you something. So just because we see something on the chart, obviously it's a pattern. But if there's real market intention behind that pattern, there's no way of knowing. A lot of patterns fail just because a pattern is there. It doesn't really mean anything. It could be an indication of something happening that we anticipate, or it could not be. Some patterns are simply random and are there just thrown up on the chart by random chance. But having said that, many of the patterns are reliable with statistical reliability that we can take advantage of. Now, one is that, as you notice, the Remek system currently, and this is another thing that we could do, and we will soon do as soon as NinjaTrader 8 comes out. I think we have some development plans in the pipeline, some exciting stuff coming up. By the way, any current users and current customers will be able to upgrade freely, so no worries there. One thing that we're not doing right now is that we're not counting the signals. You see 1, 2, 3, and 4. And as you see, in any trend, basically the pattern is similar. Sooner or later, these signals getting weaker and weaker, and price either stalls or turns back, or something else will happen. All right, so if you want to take these trend signals, then you might want to take the first or the second one and not the fifth one or the sixth one, because there's not much juice in there anymore, or chances are there isn't. All right, and but currently we're not counting the signals because it just slows NinjaTrader down too much. No criticism, but everybody says the memory management of NinjaTrader 8 will be leaps and bounds better than 7. So we'll wait till it comes out, and then we'll test it. And if it's fast enough, we're going to put it into the new version. Until then, you have to count these signals yourself, which is, I don't think it's a problem, right? So signal 1, 2, 3. What do you notice at signal number 4? What you notice, and we've seen this about 2 million times in the past 7 years, what you notice, or since SI Pro Renko came out 4 years ago anyway, because this is SI Pro Renko, it's a very reliable situation that you get a signal here. Usually it's the last signal in a row. and then the next bar is the opposite color. We call it instant reversal, whatever you call it. Now, we could put a long signal here, but as I mentioned, it's not in the code right now because it slows down the system. We want the system to be quick and fast, especially because we like switching between nodes, and we don't want to wait 10-15 seconds before it switches. I don't know why it's so slow now. It should be faster, but in any case, one time Bill Gates gave a presentation on Windows, and Windows froze behind him, so I never know what's going to happen to me next. All right, so you see the long signals. Now, if you're in auto mode and you get this last short signal and the next bar, well, whether it's the last or not, at that point you don't know, of course. But when the next bar is the opposite color, then that is telling you that the shorts are done. Not always. Well, you know, like always, these words don't even exist in trading. So we're always talking about statistics and probabilities. So, but usually this is an indication that the market wants to turn, and you will not take this short signal. Okay, again, we could filter it out, but we don't bother right now because we're okay without it, and we will implement it as soon as it starts making sense to us. Until then, you can just look at it, and when this signal comes, when this situation, this instant reversal you see on the chart, then what we do, we just usually put the system into long, and to us, if everything else looks good, you see, it's like a puzzle. You have to put the piece of the puzzle together, but if everything else looks good, then the next signal, the next opposite, which is the long in this case, is a pretty good signal. Or if you don't want to go long, you don't have to, of course. You can, you know, either disable the system and get a coffee, or put it into no trade and get a coffee, or whatever. You don't have to trade. Cash is a valid position. So much about the instant reversal. And yeah, so basically in this little video, I wanted to show you this one, the instant reversal thing, and then the NinjaTrader strategy window, because we get a lot of questions about this. And obviously we're happy to answer them, but you'll have to realize this is NinjaTrader functionality, and everybody needs to get familiar with this. We don't really have anything to do with these fields. We just have to learn how to use them. Okay, so, and second or third is how to use the disable and enable buttons, right? Just quickly disable or enable the system. The other way to do it is to put it into no trade. But notice that when you put into no trade, there will be no signals on the chart. If you want to see the signals but not trade, then you have to keep this button disabled in SI Raven. If you enable it, then it will take the next auto signal, whether it's long or short. You leave it up to the system to decide. If you don't, if you know what you want to do, if you know what you're waiting for example, when this situation happens here, and you know that from this point on, you're looking for the best entry on the long side, then you're free to put into long mode and not take chances with the auto. Because the auto mode has it calculates a lot to decide whether it wants to give you a long or short signal. But if you don't want to leave it up to them, up to the code, the algorithm to decide, and we often don't because we know what we want to do, then you can choose just long or short. You see, in the auto system, probably one or two conditions here was not met. So that's why you didn't get a long signal. Okay, there's about 27 conditions that our algorithm evaluates in 200 milliseconds. So I cannot, even if I wanted to, I couldn't tell you which one was not met. But you can be sure that it was not met for some reason, and statistically, the system thinks that it's better not to give you the auto signals here, which is okay, because there's a lot of auto signals will be there and will be excellent anyway. All right? Now, what we want to avoid is flat markets. You can trade anything except for a flat line. You can't make money with a flat line. So when the market consolidates, or when you think you don't really know what the situation holds, then it's quite reasonable just to be flat for a while and see what the market wants to do next. The LAR chart, a few words about the LAR chart. The LAR chart, we keep it here. First of all, it gives you a very good idea about previous highs, previous areas of interest up here, which we're going to use as our targets. If you're in a good trade, it's reasonable to expect that price will visit these areas again, and it's just a matter of managing the trade and staying into the trade to take advantage of what the chart is telling us to do. Often price will move back to our dotted line, this area here, before it makes another leg up. How you take advantage of this is all up to you. All right, as you see, we have a magenta line here and the blue line. The magenta was previous resistance. And in this case, it's resistance because it's red, it's above us. So when price gets up to this area, it's, if it's part of your strategy, then it's quite reasonable to remove some money off the table, because most likely a pullback is next. Not always, but it's reasonable to assume that. Okay, so why don't I stay quiet a little bit and then run this for a while and see what the chart will do next. I'm very fast now, 200. Speed is 200. So if I don't get, you remember, I have a limit order on the market. So if I don't get filled, it doesn't really matter. But we'll get signals, I hope. Now, in auto mode or any mode, of course, not all trades and not all signals will be good. So now we have a long signal in auto mode. The automatic algorithm decided that this is a good area to go long, and probably it's right. But if you notice, we're just coming off the previous resistance. All right. And if you haven't gone long yet from here, then it may or may not be the best place to go long. Now remember, we can put 2 million things in the code, but the more things you put in, because of some limitations, memory-wise, we had to decide how far to stretch this while keeping the system jumpy. So don't worry about not everything is in there. And when you filter out something, you also filter out the baby with the bath of water. So, the more things you put in there, the more good trades you'll be missing. So at this point, we decided that there's many things that we can just plainly see with our eyes. And if I went long here and took some money here, maybe I want to wait till price comes back to retest this level before I want to go long again. There's a couple of good decisions that you can do by just looking at the chart. Okay, so enough talk. Let's see what the auto signal does. If price decides to come back, then we'll get stopped out pretty quickly. This is what happened, and your risk and your damage is limited as much as possible. And as you see, if you or any trader ever hesitates taking the stops or moves a stop, the system will not let you go bankrupt. The system takes you out before we lose an arm and a leg. Okay, so I'd rather lose a little finger than an arm and a leg. All right, keep the risk of ruin as close to zero as possible, and our exit strategy has an important role in that. All right, let's see what happens next. So we got a long signal. Let me just slow this down a little bit. We got a long signal. The ATM is at work. We have 2 contracts long. The first target is here. We didn't get hit. We almost got hit, but didn't. But if we get hit, our stop will move up, and we have another target far away. You can move this with your, by hand if you want to, the previous close or wherever you want it to move. But remember, at the same time, the ATM is at work as well. So let's see how this works out. So there's three things happening. First of all, you can move the target by hand. Second, there's an ATM strategy with a trailing stop. Third, the Remek system itself has an exit. And what you need to know about the exit is that the exit has two parts. One protects your downside, and the other side of the exit tries to help you to make money. So if price runs away, remember it's 200 milliseconds. Let me just stop this for a second. So it happens, it calculates faster than we can think. If price suddenly jump up, then the Remek will take the money for you before you can think. If price comes down fast, Remek will get you out of a bad trade before you can think. In the meantime, there's also a trailing stop. So if price moves up there, either the Remek exit will take you out or the trailing stop will take you out. Or you can just set up your own system. Think this over carefully, and there's a lot of good options. There's amazing possibilities here that you can, if you just sit down and think it over, you can devise your own system that's very effective and all based on the system. Now, I talked about the instant reversal. You see we had a long signal here. But the next candle is red. That means that market at that time anyway is not going anywhere. Came back to test this level, not surprisingly, before it makes another move somewhere. All right. Okay. We always look at the larger chart to see what's going on because there's other participants, money interests may be present on the market that want to take price somewhere, wherever they want to take it, right? We have to figure out what they want to do because, of course, we don't have the money to move the market. We have to ride on their backs. We are the little mice on the backs of the elephants, right? So we have to understand what the herd is doing so we can travel with them. And if we're wrong, we have to get off quickly. All right, let's see what the market does next. So we're in a trade on the long side. We got stopped out. That's okay. Okay, this thing is coming down. Let's see what happens next. Don't worry about the background on the large chart. Okay, now we're short. Yeah, I'm playing it very fast, so it's skipping some signals. In the meantime, we're short. First contract already taken. Probably the ATM kicks in. Let's see how the ATM handles this. Okay, let me stop this for a second. This is interesting, good to know. So you see automatically our stop is below our entry. I played it fast, but even in real life, it happens fast and it's effective. And depending on the volatility of the instrument you trade, you can design your own trailing stop or use it without a trailing stop. You don't have to. It's just one of the options. Okay, so we have the second target. Remember a couple of things at work as we speak, right? First of all, Remek's exit is at work, which will ensure you're making money because now you're in a good trade. If it suddenly turns back, Remek exit will not let you lose and give it back. But after a couple of, I don't know what the exact algorithm is, but you'll see in your own practice when the situation warrants, then Remek will take the money for you if that trade really wants to turn back against you. Second, you have the trading stop, which is ensuring that you're in the money. Okay, so let's see. And when things happen fast, you don't always know which one took the money, but when one of these things took $500 for you, I'm not too worried about which one did it. So now you're out, you see? Here at this point, something happened. Either the trading stop took you out or the Remek exit took you out. In either case, we were in the red a little bit. So in either case, this was like a $400 trade. Now, it was previous support level on the big chart. So remember, you're always welcome to just hit close and get out of the trade manually and take the money that way. So there's a lot of options you can choose, but there's a lot of automated things, that help you when things get hot and things start to happen and move quickly. Then you always know that you're covered. Okay, let's see one more example and then close this off. So we have another short, and then that trade was not going anywhere. Oh, here's another short. Maybe this will work. Or maybe not. We got stopped out. You see, so there's a consolidation here. When the ADX is yellow, kind of expected, but it was reasonable to expect that this will make another leg down, but sometimes it doesn't. In any case, whatever happens, the system protects you and does not allow you to lose much. So thank you very much. I'm sure there's a lot of things that might be of interest, but if you guys have any questions, just send us an email. We'll be happy to tell you more about the ins and outs of the system. We've been using it for years, and it's like second nature to us, but we understand there may be some things that we either didn't think of or didn't or haven't had the opportunity to explain it in detail. So much for now. Have a lovely rest of this beautiful Friday afternoon, wherever you are, and a good weekend and mindful trading. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.